Hello, guys. This is the Turning Point Canada. Turning Point Canada. I don't know if everybody can hear me loud and clear. Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to have you right away. And yeah, there you go. There you go. Here we go. Okay, perfect. Consciences, Parker, Mario, Robert. Hello, guys. How are you doing tonight? Like I said, this is the Turning Point, and where faith meets freedom and truth stand firm. Hosted by John Crowder, tonight we remind, Canadian, that our value aren't for sale. They're God's given. That's it. And that's all. That's where we're going to go like this. Okay, Parker, I just add you. Go ahead, my man. Let's go. Jump in. Navneed. Oh, my God. Like a beautiful crowd. Beautiful people tonight. Wow. Wow, we. Tonight, I just want to say, like, we're cutting through the noise, okay? Once for all. I am a French Canadian. I speak English. If there's any issue, you let me know. You raise your hand and you say, "Hey, Frenchie, Froggy." Just kidding. Come on. You stop me right there, and here we go. We are a team. We're here to build and go further with Turning Point Canada. And like I said tonight, no filter, no spin, just real talk for real Canadian, like all of you right here, right now. From faith to freedom, from Ottawa to Arctic, because I am from the Arctic. I do live in Nunavut, the territory, not a territory anymore. Yeah, I mean, still, but hey, that did separate from White Horse and Yellowknife. So stay with us, join the chat, and let's stand on guard for our country together, guys. I'm John, crowded, like I said again, and you're watching, you're listening, Turning Point Canada. Dear Anya, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing very well. It's been a beautiful day in southwestern Ontario, Canada. 86 degrees, blue skies, sunshine, the birds singing, but unfortunately, the leaves were falling a little too quickly for me. Nevertheless, I love the autumn, I love the spring, so I have a lot to look forward to.
I would like to bring and let's talk about like to the Canadian. Let's talk about Canada. What's going on? The ideology infecting our school, media, institution. You know what they call woke progressists. How about that? You know, it is the rejection of truth for ideology, the replacement of biology and fantasy, and answer to our Christian moral in general foundation. What do you think about that, Enya? Like, are you? What's your thought about the woke ideology pushed by obviously the liberal?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's part of the brainstorming that I know you want to do tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What is Turning Point Canada about? Or is it the turning point in Canada? And, what is our agenda? Certainly, I perceive, from my perspective, that there are many issues that a movement like this group might become involved in. And one of the topics, oh, I see Rob Bard here is here as well. That's great. And consciousness, conscious creation, awesome. Welcome, Mario. Welcome, all of you. Welcome. Getting back to the topic, I um, I think that whole issue of diversity, equity, and diversity, equity, what's the other last word? And inequality, or whatever, DEI. I think that that is a topic that is related to the Canada that we're experiencing. I think it's very relevant for this group, this movement to address it because not only does it affect families and um, the debate that goes in families. Am I a male? Am I a female? Or is there something else I could possibly be? And it also relates to the education system and the what I perceive to be the indoctrination that's going on. The education system seems to be in, from what I can see, complicit in implementing, that deep state globalist new world order agenda 2030, whereby kids are indoctrinated, not educated. Many parents that I speak to are concerned about the education from kindergarten all the way up to colleges and universities. Many of them cannot homeschool. And so they say, when my kids come home, I really talk to them about what did you talk about in school today? And I try, parents tell me, both mother and father, they try to undo any of that damage, indoctrination that they can perceive, but they're still concerned, nevertheless, because they can't do homeschooling. And so there's quite a dilemma for families in terms of the education system. And, the woke ideology, as you can witness in America, seems to be affecting how people perceive everything that's going on, like from food on the table to family, marriage, et cetera, employment, et cetera, et cetera. And I believe it's already infiltrated in Canada, and it started probably 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years ago, and we didn't even know. Does that suffice, John?
I mean, we're talking. I believe um, it's not a debate. I want to hear. I want to hear you out about what you think about gender ideology or the wokeness in general as we speak right now. I do remember when I was a little bit younger. Yeah, yeah. I'm getting there, but when I was a little bit younger, that was something like almost like the stranger, like the space cadet, let's say, and we were using like term uh, we would call these days like a bully, But gender ideology is being like introduced, like you said, to children as young as 4 and 5 years old, like you said, in the kindergarten classroom, long before they can even spell the word biology. Why? Why are they doing this? Who's behind the scene? Who's trying like to, hey, someone has an agenda in Canada to do those things, to create like chaos in those little mind, completely naive mind, you know? And like I said earlier, I mean, no, it was like another episode, like, but British Columbia and Ontario, some curriculum video, now promote the idea that gender is a spectrum of infinity of possibility. How is that possible? This bit like clear scientists evidence that biology sex is determined at the conception. When you get born, like you don't come with like, oh, you can be whatever you want. That makes absolutely no sense. It's
Well, I agree with you. I think it doesn't make any sense. And, if I can just be very blunt about it, I believe there's just two genders, male and female. That's it. There's nothing else. And if I apologize to anybody who disagrees, and we're entitled to agree to disagree and to do it politely. Um, I believe that transgenderism is a form of mental illness. And it does inadvertently destroy that concept of a man and a woman falling in love, getting married, having a family, and contributing to society in a way that's positive and that really builds the foundation of the concept of family in Canada. That's what I believe. That's my perception of that whole
mhm.
notion being male or female. There isn't anything else as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, let's be clear. I am not the gun. I do accept everyone, whatever you want to be. Let's go for it. Okay, it's simple like that. But kindness and compassion for every student should never be up for debate. Okay, but the woke movement isn't about kindness at all anymore. Oh, no, 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 no. It's not about kindness anymore. It's about control. Don't, there's nobody here who can say, oh, yeah, yeah, no, no, it's about, open mind and, and to be, nice with each other, to accept each other. No way. It's about control. It completely changed. The LGBTQ whatsoever is now about control. Control what you think, what you will say, and the way we're going to say it. You will say what we say. It's exactly what's going on. It tells our kids, our children, the truth is subjective. The feelings override facts. And if you disagree, you guys, Robert, everybody who's listening right now, you are hateful. You're just a hateful person. The other way
Well,
around.
I think that that is like I'm taking notes here
Yes.
for as people contribute and speak because it is a bit of a brainstorm session. And I would definitely add, DEI, the whole issue of gender. Those are topics that I think are part of the turning point in Canada that we really, for the most part, don't discuss in most spaces, nor do we ever come up with alternatives or other ways of addressing these issues. I have to say that in terms of education, unions have become a huge problem in Ontario. The curriculum has become a huge problem in Ontario. The violation of children's boundaries has become, in school systems, has become a huge problem. There was a time in education, and I'm talking the end of the 1990s, early 2000s, when it was totally inappropriate for any kind of political party or visitor from any political party to even enter a school to even discuss issues related to politics. The same was true for teachers. The same was true for sex education. And parents had to sign a piece of paper approving that their children could participate in those classes. That no longer happens. It's like the door is wide open. Anything goes. And for the most part, it's the curriculum that I would no longer approve of, let alone support in terms of kindergarten to grade 12. And from colleges to universities, we seem to have professors who want to teach kids, lecture kids, it's my way or the highway. You better believe this, take your notes, memorize them, and get ready to repeat when the test happens. You know what? That's unacceptable. What happened to critical thinking? What happened to problem solving? Yeah, this is a topic that I think is very much a part of this group.
And that's really funny. You just brought up the score all across Canada are falling apart. It's a fact. We'd rather to you know encourage mental issue, and I'm not gonna. Nobody's gonna change my mind on that part. Like transgender, woke ideology, whatever you want to call it. You need to talk to someone, get a therapist. Yeah, absolutely. God give you a beautiful male or female body. What's the issue? Why? Why can't you accept what the nature, Mother Nature, give you at birth? That's absolutely, to me, madness to see those poor little kids. Oh yeah, you can be whatever you want. You want to be a cat? You want to be a dog? That. Oh, hold on here. What is wrong with you? Who decided like to bring that kind of mindset instead? Hey, let's go do some. Let's have some sport competition. Be better. You know, you can go further than what you're capable of right here, right now. No, yet school prioritize pronouns over performing. What the heck? What, I don't get. I'm confused. I'm more confused than they can be on that part. High school are no better at all. Students are being taught that Canada itself is built on oppression. Okay, since that our flag, our tradition, like even our history, should be viewed with shame instead of pride. But we'd rather like to, put the LGBTQ flag out there at the parliament in Ottawa, like for more than a month. That is really important. That is important.
Well, you have to know, John, that even within the gay community, and I do respect their choice, that many of those people, those adults who've made their choices, disagree with all of this nonsense about pride or transgenderism. They protest too. I've met some in Oakville when we were, and maybe Rob was there, I don't know, um, when we were outside of schools protesting this kind of thing going on. And I have to say that there were many, many people from um, that community who joined us that day to protest against that kind of invasion in schools, in in denigrating Pride Month, in all of that. Even some of them resented the fact that the rainbow was being used to ruin highways, and they joked about it at the time. But they were speaking seriously that they feel as well that somehow they've been denigrated by this whole movement. They have the right to be who they are. I'm not arguing about that. I respect that. But don't tell someone who's 8 years old that an 8 year old boy that he could probably be a girl, or a 5 year old girl that she could probably be a boy if she wanted to be. I mean, that is, from my perspective, that's a violation, a serious violation. And teaching certificates should be revoked if that's the kind of conversation that's going on. Parents feel powerless to do anything about it. In the area where I live, when some of them have brought up these topics, they've been thrown out of the meeting. Tell me, since when did we silence parents? Since when did we say your point of view is not relevant here? Didn't we elect these people? Do they not serve us? Do they not want to stand on the right side of the rights of children, parents, families? I don't know.
Navneed, you want to jump in? I'm pretty sure you have something to say, sir. Go ahead, my
No,
friend.
no, no. There's nothing. It's very simple. So
Is
we
it
can make.
is it that
Am
simple,
I
Navneed?
am I audible? Am I audible? Just give me a thumbs up if I am audible.
Yes, you are
Okay, good,
loud
good.
and clear 5 by 5.
Yeah,
So you're good to
yeah.
go.
Perfect, perfect. See, when I say simple, we humans have got a tendency to make simple things complex and complex things simple. That is what we have been doing for last few decades. See, I'll give you some examples, and maybe that examples will help uh, really pinpoint where we are headed. You will be surprised. There had been pride parades or pride presentations or festivals in Jaipur and Chandigarh in India. These are the two very advanced city of northern India. Now, how did they happen? They have a system. They have a. It's all by design. It's not organic. Okay, organic is, you know what? When I was in India in my childhood, and there was in our neighborhood, a kid was born, and there is a tradition when they find out there are transgenders, they have already always existed, but you don't make exceptions and make them generalized. This is the fundamental rule of software coding. When we code, that's where exceptions are never made rules, they are never made generalized. So the kid is born, and they will not go away unless they make sure the kid is not, it has to be male or a female, otherwise they will take it with them. It's a tradition, long term tradition, because transgenders are, they do exist, as somebody just said before me when you guys were talking, that we are always in the habit of, oh, we don't want to offend anybody, everybody, nobody, we have agreed to disagree. These are all, we are becoming politically so correct, we can't even talk sensibly, we are thinking to offend somebody. See, transgender always existed on this planet. There were, but their numbers were very few. They are not born every day. Once in a while, something happens. Why it happens, we don't know. It's a mystery. Now, I'm giving an example from old perspective. Now, what is happening here? 3-year-old kid, 2-year-old kid, 4-year-old kid, he or she, when is not even in, see, you have to be adult, 18 years or 16 year, whatever. Then that's what happened in American politics when Vivek was running, and Elon Musk also has some comments that if mother is sick, if she is telling, mother or father is sick, if they are telling 2 3 year old these things, and if 18-year-old teenager is saying, then he needs treatment. See, there are two genders, male and female, period. There are some transgender, there are situations, but they have right to live.
Hey, hold on, Avni. Like, let me ask you that question. You're not a
Okay.
doctor. How do you
Yeah,
know?
it's okay. See this. I was in a space being run in America by a very renowned doctor. I forget the name. She was host, and there was a couple of co-hosts. What they were talking about was this allopathy, that this blood pressure, cystosis, and all that, 120 over 90. How they have been dropping these uh, threshold so that they can sell more medicines. See, surgery is okay, but preventive medicine is lot better. Preventive, and that is, traditional medicines existed in America before this allopathy was introduced. This is all racket. This is a racket. So I was trying to nail down some point with my discussion. You asked me a question, so obviously I had to go a little bit on tangent.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is happening here is, by design, otherwise in India, pride parade. What is that? Because it's a democracy, and we will not do anything like Afghanistan or Islam, because in Islam they won't even have, there will be a Sharia court already in London and all that. It is only they are using this all ideology by corrupting the brain at an impressionable age, I call them. Impressionable age, where you can corrupt the mind. And the moment mind is corrupted, and now I want to give you another simile, very important. Now, people are having a fashion. Jim is here. Wow. Jim was here yesterday or day before when I hosted the space. Jim, you were awesome when you spoke 2 days ago. There was not many people, but it was right point blank. And that's where I'm coming after this point. And then you can take the floor. Married couples, number one, marriages are happening late because career is so important. We are worried about putting food on the table. Putting food on the table should be so easy that we should not be worried for putting food on the table, but we are worried. And these career oriented young adults, they are saying, if we are getting old, oh, we have a IVF technology, we can have a baby born in somebody's else womb, and we can pay her. It's called renting a womb. So how they are brainwashing people, how they are in Switzerland, they have an artificial whole lab where they will ask you, you want a blue eye kid, You want how much IQ you want, it will cost you X amount of dollars. They are making it a commodity. So human life is no more valuable in their minds, and they are inducing this now death. 38-year-old person has been put to death in Canada, and his heart has been transplanted within 5 hours in the United States. It's on Twitter. Go and read it. You can find it on my handle. So, what are they doing? They are making sure money, money, money. And that is the last point I want to make sure. When value system is gone outside the door and everybody wants to become rich, wealthy, that's why these people, politicians with 1.5 million of worth value, asset value of Trudeau, after 10 years of prime minister, he is 340 million worth person. And he's nowhere to be seen. He's gone. Nobody knows where he is. So the main focus of our turning point Canada is to awaken people because we have to save our country. Canadians needs to be protected,
We have to.
and if we don't do this and people don't come, there are a lot of spaces running. I was just in another space anonymously, and thank God Hanya has been educating me a lot because she's in the Twitter handles for a long time. I don't know many people. So people do not come with their open IDs, and that's okay. I don't mind because there are people, they can come. This is an open platform. It is a global town square. Right now we have a Papa ID sitting from India or maybe America. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know where he's from, but he has been in other spaces. I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
So, point I'm trying to nail down here and land my plane with this: these people are shrewd and clever and lawyers, and they want to do something which has never happened to humanity. They want to damage the very fabric of a family values, which Charlie Kirk was trying to do in his own way, and the guy was murdered point blank in the neck because the guy was challenging the status quo that these people have developed
Yeah.
because of the power of money and the power of state. They can do anything they want. Today ostriches are being culled, tomorrow they can cull people too, and they're already doing that with wars that are happening all around the globe. Every decade there had been a war, but thank goodness we have probably some hope from United States of America. But don't be so optimistic. You got to fight your own battle every day, every single day. You have to wake up, and we have a conscience here. And conscience, what she's doing, she's bringing harmony, she's bringing love, compassion.
Yeah.
How can you not be pained if your neighbor? Today I had a very important meeting in the morning, and it was everybody is crying for that peace, for that food on the table, for love and compassion. And these people, they are trying to say, oh, it's for everybody has a right to live and we have right to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
These
But
people are
Navneet,
clever.
I
They
will
are very
stop.
clever people.
Yeah, yeah, I will stop you right there, Navneet.
Yeah,
The only thing
yeah,
I'm going to add to what you're saying is follow the
yeah.
money because
Absolutely.
as we speak right now, Navneet, simple like this. LGBTQ. When I say follow the money, the estimate is 1.4 trillion dollar. Okay,
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
all.
Follow the
That's
money.
follow the
Follow
money.
the money.
That's the
Follow the
only
money. And
reason. That's the
and I
only
tell you,
reason. That's the
they
only reason. Please and thank you, Navneet.
yeah, I will
That's
just go mute. I'll go mute. I know I've gone long. They
no,
are
I know.
using our taxpayer money to destroy us. That is the last line. And thank you. And
Thank
we
you.
will prevail. We will prevail. We have to keep going with compassion and passion both.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank you.
Navneet. Hey, Jim, jump in, my friend. Your turn. You just raise your hand. Come
Okay,
on.
hi guys.
Hello, sir.
Ladies, am I coming in clear?
I can't hear
Now,
you, sir.
loud and clear, sir. Go ahead.
I don't seem to be hearing you guys.
I can hear you.
All right, so if you guys can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so here's my. So I actually worked with Shelly in a program, and I'll say this very quickly because it gives a really good picture of what our healthcare, mental health care is all about. Shelley and I created a program, an artist therapy program that went into a pilot. We had $250,000 set aside by St. Joe's Hospital in Toronto for this program, and long story short, the tenets of the program were love, compassion, and respect. So when the patients came into the actual room with us, now there were two guards outside. So imagine you have two huge guards with latex gloves on. Standing guard at a door. Patients are coming in to a artist therapy program, and love, compassion, and respect are the way that they're greeted. And in that room, we were never attacked. And but one thing was certain, that when we started to clear out this floor, because these were patients that had tried to commit suicide, we cleared out the floor almost completely. And instead of the hospital loving that, and instead of the mental health department loving it, instead of the head of psychiatry, who was always on speaking tours, loving it, they said that we weren't a good fit, so they terminated the program. I'm going to like cut to the chase really fast because I don't want to bore you guys with all
No,
this
no, no, no. All
information.
good. Go ahead.
But they terminated the program very, very quickly and rolled that $250,000 for the program into pharma. And so the goal here was not to cure people, and we have a disease management system. We don't have healthcare. That's something that we have to understand. When you give people love, compassion, and respect, it's amazing how much healing actually happens with the people that are actually hurting. And unfortunately, that's not compatible with our healthcare system. Love, compassion, and respect does not enter into the equation. COVID 19 was a prime example of how people were left to die in isolation and deprived of human dignity and human life. So mental health is a huge issue, and in that program in the hospital, where there was three guys, big guys, dressed with blouses, high heels, skirts. They were identifying as women. They were transgender. This is before transgenderism became big, and to be quite honest with you, all three of them had the same similar story. They had been gang raped by other men, and so they were trying uh, to transition to basically satisfy what they'd gone through as a way to, in their own mind's eye, give a reason as to why they went through the horrific event that they went through. So this was my anecdotal experience with transgenderism. Now, the movement itself is a heinous movement, and it's designed to break the family unit. It's designed to break society, and that's how it's designed. And so, with people who have mental health issues, are no longer considered to have mental health issues. They're considered to be, wanting to transition, and it's sad that we're not actually providing mental health care for people, because those people are human beings and they do have a right to live, but they're being given voodoo medicine and voodoo science to transition their bodies by people who are making money off of that. But more importantly, though, the transition or the transgender movement is to destroy family values. It's to destroy the family unit. It's to destroy our family society. And that same type of transgender movement was instituted during the Bolshevik movement to destroy a country back in the 1930s. So it really is a tactic to destroy the family unit. That's all I'm going to say about
Yeah.
that. Again, I have a lot of feelings about people that are going through that type of thing, and how their minds are twisted by other twisted people. And the parents that believe that their children should be transitioned, if you really looked deep and scratched below the
Yeah.
surface, you'd find out that each of those parents have mental health issues, and serious ones. And that's really the bottom line when it comes to that. You know, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old are just discovering who they are, let alone determining whether they're going to transition to be a boy from a girl or a girl from a boy. Um, so I'm going to stop that part of my dialogue because I have something exciting to talk about,
Okay.
and I see Mario Greco is here as well, who's a young guy, somebody that is basically the type of individual that Turning Point USA would have in their group, and I'm glad to see that Mario is here because Turning Point Canada should be the same thing. It's about the youth. It's about the university student, the high school student. It's about those who actually see, and Mario does see. He's a very much, a man and a youth that sees exactly what's going on in our country and doesn't like it. So what I wanted to say was that I met with a large group of homeschooling parents today. Down in the southern part of of Niagara, and it was in the outdoors. The kids were out in the outdoors, and I spoke to a number of them. I spoke to a number of them about Turning Point Canada. Many of them really do and did have a lot of respect for Charlie Kirk. And again, these were homeschooling parents, and just watching the brilliance of them teaching their child and then letting their child, independently go out into the water as an example and learn and how to boat, how to canoe, how to flatboard.
Yeah.
Like just basically given the opportunity for children to learn on their own. And this is what Turning Point Canada, from my perspective, should be. Is about having a place for the youth and for the young men and the young women, like Mario Greco, as an example, to have a place to come and to organize. These are the people that see the truth of what's going on in our country. They are the people that are going to be, leading this country in decades to come, and these are the ones that can see with clarity where their generation is being misled. And I would love for Mario to be able to speak at some point. But I wanted to come into the space, and you guys know I'm on a major deadline at my end. October 23rd is my drop dead date, so I've got a huge project that I'm finishing. But I wanted to come in because I think it's important that we provide young men, young women, the opportunity to have a place where they can express themselves along the same lines as what Turning Point USA was all about. Now, without going into a lot of detail, I'm sure everybody has a lot of effort towards trying to interface with Turning Point USA. I'm making some inroads in that area in a big way, and hopefully, in the near future, those inroads will translate into Turning Point Canada, this very chat and space that we're in right now, and movement that you guys have all started. I'm honored to be a part of something that is in its infancy here in Canada, but I'm hoping that it's going to explode into a massive movement that's going to literally be there for the youth, because ultimately it'll be the youth that are going to need a place where they can come together and plan for their future and make a difference for their future. And that's how I see Turning Point Canada evolving, is providing a platform for people like Mario. I also asked Travis Morris to join us. He hasn't joined us yet, but he's another great guy.
Okay.
And there's many more that will come forward. I know many
Thank you,
young
Jim.
men, young women who I've met through the freedom fight over the last number of years, since about 2019, who are just itching and chomping at the bit to be together and working to fight for their freedom. And again, I'm honored to be a part of that and to help them get into that place. And right now I'm hogging the mic, so to speak, only to express what my desire is, which is to see the youth have a place to come together and to have ourselves help them in any way that we can to make a difference for them. And again, with the basis of love, compassion, respect, We're not gonna win hearts by fueling hate. We're not gonna win hearts by fueling division. We're not going to bring this country together by being a wedge. Now, in saying that, we also are not going to become a country and a strong force of love, compassion, and respect if we accept the divisions that have been put into and in front of us in this world. And that's really what we're faced with here. There's a lot of division that has been created by the Conservative Party, by the Liberal Party, by the NDP Party, and by the Green and the Bloc. They've all created divisions. Everybody's been put into a box. I'd like to see Canada become the Canada that I always thought it was, which was a bunch of patriots, a bunch of people who love their country coming together, and they come from all kinds of different backgrounds. But ultimately, we are proud to be Canadians, and we honor the Western civilization's tenets. We look at and we approach everything through Christ-like eyes, so to speak. And I know many people when I was in Toronto we sat and we talked about Christ, and I talked about Christ to a number of different cultures, and a number of different backgrounds and religions, and everybody understands who Christ is, and I think that's one of the things that I think is important to understand, that the teachings of Christ are part of that Western civilization, and what Canada is really rooted in and has always been rooted in at the end of the day. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm super happy to see Mario here.
Good.
I hope that he will speak.
Thank you for
And
Mario to jump in.
I'm going to beg off and close my mic now. I think I've said enough. But that's my desire is to help young people seize the moment and seize the reins to their path at the end of the day.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much.
Thank you, by the way, for letting me speak.
Of course, come on. Hey, it's free until you have to pay something. Hold on, hold your horses, Mario. It won't be too long. Conscious, please, please. I know you had your hand up.
Everyone.
Please.
I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you. Um, I'm glad to be here with all of you. There's a couple of things that were brought to the forefront. I don't know if you know any of my history. I've worked for government, I've worked for ministers, I've worked for corporate America. I've also studied as a holistic experiential psychotherapist, so I know about the mental health issues that have been going on for years and years and years, and raising all this money. I don't even know where all that money is going to when we raise all that money, because it doesn't seem to help the people in the environment. But what we are doing also as, yes, citizens and taxpayers and people who have concern is we're still having the same conversations. We're still conversing about the things that are divisive, and they're still taking us away from uniting ourselves within ourselves alone, bringing ourselves back to ourselves. But we're not having those conversations from a place. We need to change the conversation. We cannot have it about what they've brought to us in and articulating all of these things that they've brought to us, because the system is broken, it's fractured, it's fragmented. It's going to keep us fragmented forever because none of it makes sense. And we're trying to make sense of something that doesn't make any sense. And so we're going to be speaking in circles over and over and over again, because I've been out here for 5 years, guys, and I've heard all these conversations already. I can't have it anymore. I can't have this conversation again. I can't do it anymore. But not only that,
Yeah.
after I was part of, I also was part of I was an activist for the vaccines 20 years ago, and for natural health, like our friend said that came up. in regards to the natural medicines, and the pharma wanted to take it over. Um, and I fought for that too 20 years ago. I didn't see anybody around. Nobody was there. Nobody in Canada was there. Nobody came out. Everybody was doing their thing. Everybody was making their money. And now everybody's up in arms, and they're all like, they're speaking about all these things. Well, those conversations are long gone. We cannot start our conversations from there any longer, because all we're doing is we're feeding into their agenda. If we continue those conversations, they have to start at a different point, right? So we live in a time where ideas travel fast, really fast, and some, like diversity or inclusion, they began in good intention but are now used to divide us. Others, like gender ideology, are introduced so early and so forcefully that they bypass even dialogue and go straight to the conditioning. But if we don't have a different conversation, what happens is people are taken, they're not aware that they're being taken into these conversations because there is no grounding at their feet. So they're just taken into the conversation and spun around and continue to spin. And how long has this conversation been going on? Forever. So any belief system, political, spiritual, or social, can become a form of brainwashing when when it discourages questioning, critical thinking, or dissent. Our challenge is not to fight people, but to protect the freedom of mind and heart. True compassion means we can respect individual experience and still question systems that push ideology over inquiry. Human values, honesty, respect, integrity, and the courage to think are the antidote to manipulation. They unite us beyond labels. This is where we need to begin the conversation, not, you know, the transgender movement, or not anything that they bring out to us in that respect. We cannot start a conversation from there, because what we're doing is we're feeding into their system. We're just giving them more energy. We're fueling it because we're bringing attention to what they want us to bring attention to. And then it becomes left, right, this and that, rather than we're human. We're all human. And what you choose for yourself as a human being, adult, that's what you choose for yourself. That's fine. I've worked with many gay men and women, and it was never an issue. And we never looked at each other any differently. Some of them were transgender. Nothing was ever discussed before. It was not an issue. But now they're bringing it into the schools with the children. This is not normal. Like, it's not a normal conversation. How do you tell somebody that? Well, they need to understand for themselves
let
what
me
that is.
let me ask you this question. But it is normal for them? What do you think about that?
No, it's normal for them, but it's not a normal conversation for a 5-year-old and
There
a
you go.
4-year-old.
There you go.
It's normal for them as an adult. Absolutely. I don't have an issue with that. But now they're also including, you can have sex with a 10-year-old or 11-year-old. What was the consent rate? 15 years
So
old?
it's literally grooming then.
Yeah, it's grooming. So they're doing all of these things, but it's about, really, the real revolution is inner coherence. It's how we hold focus, right? How do we hold this coherence within ourselves? How do we anchor this consciousness where it's unshakable, where we are reclaiming our creative power? And that's what we've given up, right? Because the moment we lose the focus on ourselves, the system wins by default. Because if we hold it together, we begin to reshape the reality outside, inside and out, right? And then the ride ends. That's it. You're no longer on their roller coaster ride anymore. And this is not by fighting every distraction, but it's becoming undistractable through the presence and clarity of grounded awareness. We need to step into this, guys. This is the power that we need to take back. It's not about the political policies anymore because they're going to change them anyway. Told you, I've been doing this for 20 years. They've changed. I thought I was part of policy making. They've changed it again and they changed it again. They're going to change it all the time until they continue to make you fight over and over and over again. It's not about that anymore. It's about bringing some awareness and alignment to these young people, absolutely, because they've had absolutely none of that, but really bringing their and knowing their purpose and living from their values. That's what the big thing is here. So I just wanted to share that. I'm sorry, I just went on a rampage there.
Oh, rampage mode. I like that. Thank you very much. That's really nice of you. Appreciate it. Mario, you want to jump in, my friend? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. So first off,
Absolutely.
I just want to thank you for hosting this conversation, and thank you to Jim here for his very kind words. It really warmed my heart. So thank you to Jim. Thank you to all you guys. And yeah, I just wanted to just I guess basically echo what all of you guys said in the sense where we have to just lead with compassion because I feel that the first step to trying to make a positive difference is to see the humanity in each other and go beyond politics. Because I think politics is one thing, but I feel that we can't have political conversations with, let's say, people who think differently than us before we uh, bridge a human connection with them. And I feel like that's what a lot of these people are lacking is a sense of community, and that's where you have people who are lost. People then feel angry and then they try to find, oh, where's my place in society, right? And then you have, the LGBT transgender movement and whatnot. Oh, maybe I belong there, maybe they'll accept me there and whatnot. Like a lot of them are just looking for a sense of community. So what we need to do is just show our heart first, listen to them, and basically not really argue with them, but more just hear out what they have to say and ask them questions,
Yeah.
so that way it helps them develop in their own way. Like for example, like I'm a teacher, right? I'm, I hear different sides and whatnot, and there's a lot of people in the profession that are very concerned with the way things are going. Like I would say from my experiences, most teachers aren't in agreement with how things are going, with how they're being pushed in the schools, right? But they don't want to lose their jobs, so that's why they try to keep themselves out of the political conversation and just doing what they can to help their kids in the best way they can without compromising their employment, right? But at the same time, though, for myself as a teacher, I studied guidance counseling as one of the
Okay.
AQs. Like as a teacher, you're able to take different courses and whatnot, so that way you could teach either math, you could teach English, you could teach, whichever subject you're looking to teach. One of them would be guidance counseling, and I took that, the part one course, and I was thinking a lot about what I would do as a guidance counselor, and I would imagine. What if there would be a student that would come up to me and be like, "Hey, Mr. Greco, I mean, this hasn't happened, but this is just hypothetical. But if they were to come up to me and say, Mr. Greco, I don't know. I think I might be trans and whatnot. What would I do? Well, I mean, first off, I would not go behind their back to tell their parents and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, your child's thinking of these things. No, but I also wouldn't keep them as a secret either. I would tell the student to be like, hey, I really appreciate you telling me this. It's not easy to disclose something that is very personal. And for context, I am a high school teacher, so I'm just putting in the context that's
Yeah.
within the high school setting. Um, I would advise them and say, I really appreciate you sharing this with me. I really feel like it would be in our best interest if we involved your parents in the conversation. Like I won't force it, but I really think that given that your parents support you and they love you and they care for you, let's have them in the room together, and I could be part of that conversation too if that makes you feel more comfortable, right? So that way we're not holding secrets, right? At the same time, I'm not going to go behind people's back if they're talking to me in confidence, but I can still give them like an idea, like, hey, you know what? There's people who love and care for you. Let's all talk about this together because we want your best interests to be at the forefront, right? And that way it can help them understand what really is best for them, and maybe I would say in the vast majority of occasions, of occasions, it would usually be social contagion,
Let,
right? Like
let
there's
me
a
ask
huge
you.
onset.
Let me ask you
Sorry.
a question,
Yeah.
Mario. Okay,
Yeah.
and you feel free to answer or say no. I'm not going to answer that one. But uh,
Mhm.
how do you feel? How do you feel you as a teacher?
Hmm.
surround with that woke ideology being pushed by XYZ?
You know what? Honestly, I feel like I kind of observe. I don't really like speak out about it like in the moment because otherwise I don't want to cause a scene. But I do observe how people react to it. Like I remember there was one time I was at a school because I would supply teach to different schools,
Yeah.
and there was one school that showed a video to a whole like cafeteria filled of students, and they're showing this video about this woman and this child talking about pronouns. Oh, my pronouns are he, him. My pronouns are she, her. Da da da.
Sorry.
Right?
Yes.
But the students, sorry,
Keep going. I'm sorry.
no, but like I was just kind of looking at how the students were reacting to it, and they were kind of just like rolling their heads, kind of like looking around, and like they looked like they weren't really engaged. So I could tell like a lot of the students weren't buying it, and they were just kind of like sitting there because they were told to sit there, and they're just sitting through it and whatnot. So I feel like the vast majority of the students are just not really going with it. It's just they're like, okay, this is like another assembly, there's another thing I just got to go through, so that way I can eventually go home for the rest of the day after, right? So but what I felt most concerned about is the fact that they had this kid on the television screen at the forefront. He looked like he was like maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, and just walking through this motion with these adults, being like nodding at him, like yes, good boy, yes, pronouns, right? It's just like like I don't know exactly who's pushing this, but at the same time, we have to really look at things on an individual level and connect with the human person as opposed to whichever giant is trying to push this, right? So, like, I want to bring this to another somewhat of slightly different topic.
Yeah.
I was
Go
at
ahead.
the march for Let Kids Be. It was like last week, and the PPC was there, a few other political parties were there as well. And basically, we're holding up these signs, that let kids be, kids grow, don't force this ideology on the kids, right? And obviously, we had our opposition that were basically yelling at us, saying, love not hate, love not hate. I mean, obviously, yeah, love not hate. There's no hatred on our end either, right? But then they would start to throw out obscenities. They'd flip the bird. They would call us fascists, and it's just like it makes me feel like, okay, they're saying love not hate, but yet who's the one being abrasive with the
That's right.
with this content, right? So I thought
Absolutely.
about it more, and I'm like, are these the enemy? And I thought about it, I'm like, no, they're not the enemy. These are people who are suffering, right? These are people who are looking for a sense of community, and you have to really think about who's the real mastermind behind it. It's not them, because the mastermind that's pushing this stuff, they're the ones profiting off of this. These counter protesters, they're not profiting off of this. They're hurting. They're in pain. So I feel that if we focus on bridging that human connection first, without going into logical debate, without going into like political bantering, just let them speak. In my opinion, I won't talk back. I'll just kind of look at them. I'll listen to what they have to say. I won't talk back, because even if you respond with the word the, it'll piss them off, right? So just listen to what they have to say, and that way you let them feel like they're being heard and that you care about them. As long as you show that you have a heart and you're caring for them, sometimes they might kind of bring down their walls and maybe be like, okay, maybe this person isn't as bad as other people have told me about is. So hopefully we can make that connection and bridge that connection with them, so that way they can kind of see the humanity, and then maybe they might be open to what we have to say and our perspective on things, and they'll learn, hey, you know what, these concerns that these people like ourselves have, it's not because of hatred, it's not because of like anger, it's because we care for people, we care about them because they're human beings just like us, right? All of us are, whether you're trans, whether you're non-trans, it doesn't matter, we're human, and we want to see the best for each other, especially for the children. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my main message: lead with the heart first, and the political conversations can come after, once we have a bridge that connects the different humans together. That's my perspective.
Thank you very much, Mario. That's really nice of you. And I'll say this of what you said,
Thank you.
when we don't really know who's behind, but I do believe I have a good idea who's behind. If I
Mhm.
say to you, Mario, okay, by 2035, transgender surgery will bring to those company $2.92 billion. How about
Mm.
that?
Yeah, yeah. It's like it sounds like a subscription-based model, like you'd find with like Netflix or Disney Plus. It's
Yeah.
like that they're looking to do that everywhere. Whoever's pushing this kind of model. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And again, we got to focus on, it's not about, it shouldn't be about the money, it should be about helping people. And that's where our
Absolutely.
healthcare system is in trouble, because they're focusing, like whoever's pushing this stuff, it's money based as opposed to health based, right? Look at our hospitals. Our doctors are in few numbers. They're being worked to the bone. Same thing with the nurses. They're being completely overrun, and our healthcare system is struggling. But yet, are we actually healing people? Are we helping people? Now MAID is being introduced. It's like, no, you want to heal people, not kill them, right? So everything snowballs together. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack, but hopefully the first step
Yeah.
is to show the heart. I think that's our best first step going forward.
All I'm gonna say, Mario, you have to come back next one to the next one if you're available, please and thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Hey,
Thank you.
Navneet, I'm giving you 1 minute. Let's go. Jump in. I know you want to say something. You have something to say again. Let's
No,
go.
no, 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 no.
No?
It's
What
it's
the
it's
hell?
very simple. It's very simple again. The mind. See, the mind, see how you become depressed. It is how you are raised. That's what it is. If your mind, see, devil's mind, the very famous phrase is, empty man's brain is devil's workshop, right? Something like that. So, from childhood, what do you want to put in the brain of impressionable kids? That is the fundamental. They have money only as an objective, and when money rules, values go down. That's it. There's so much we can say, so much we can talk, but for the next, we have Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, 8
Absolutely.
p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Western Time. Come on in, join in, bring your friends, and make it a movement. That's what we are trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. And thank you for everyone tonight for jumping with us. This is the Turning Point Canada. I'm John Crawford. Wait. Someone wants to say something. Okay, come back before we stop the show. Go ahead, please. Conscious, please.
I just wanted to bring one thing to the forefront before we end the space, and I don't know it's at the last minute, but I wanted to bring the name Turning Point Canada to the forefront because there's been, the Turning Point Canada. It does carry strong political associations, especially turning with the Turning Point USA, and which can be highly polarizing, right? It can create some kind of division or separation. And if the intention is to foster unity, awakening, deeper connection, um, I was thinking this is just me in an intuitively when I saw the title, I that's what I felt, and I thought, I'm going to bring it to the forefront anyway, but also creating maybe a name of I guess an exposing name like New Earth Turning Point or the Great Turning Point of Canada or Turning the Tide Canada, whatever it is. And then underneath that, we can still put, Turning Point, Canada's Turning Point or something like that. But I think the title itself is going to keep a lot of people away only because of what's happening and what's being discovered in the background about Turning Point USA and about the affiliates of what's going on um, with Kirk. And I've been hearing a lot of stuff, guys, and we're not going to attract a lot of people with this name. So that's just what I've heard in the background. People have come with receipts, and yeah, we really need to think about the name because I think it's going to cause a division in itself.
It will
So
always cause division. Never forget that. Whatever the name we will choose. But I'm ready to listen, brainstorm, like Enya mentioned. Enya, you want to say something else? You want to have the last word for tonight?
N-
No?
Conscious. One thing.
Well, I would like to say that, first
Yes.
of all, thank you, John, for holding the space and for working hard to really kick off a movement that is going to take some time to kick off. And there's always a starting point Canada that
Yes.
we need to consider, because I do respect consciousness, her
Yeah.
points. She's very right. She's right on track. And I know that there's a lot of devotion within this space from all of us to what Charlie Kirk did with the youth movement in America to wake them up, and it was small c conservative that I think he had in mind, and a devotion to Jesus Christ. So, you got to give him credit for that. But there are behind the scenes affiliates, I think that's a good way to describe it, that kind of undermined, I believe, his true spirit and intent. Now, do you want to keep using that? I mean, that's a decision you have to make yourself. Do you want it to be a subtitle, a subheading? Then I would say you need to explore that. I kind of like when consciousness said, you know, turning the tide in Canada, the turning point in Canada, or the turning point. Um, the maybe we want to play with that for a little while and see how we can amalgamate it in some way that doesn't turn people away, that does in fact draw them to the discussion. I'm glad that Mario's here.
Um,
Great
yeah,
to hear your
absolutely.
voice,
No, for real.
Mario.
I'm gonna throw you
So
that one, Enya. Okay. How about
so
the true
how let
potential
me
of
finish,
Canada?
John, let me finish. I
Go ahead.
just wanted to say that in terms of brainstorming, my idea of brainstorming is giving everybody a speaker, and they shout out their 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 ideas of what it ought to be. So maybe another time we can consider doing that, formal kind of schoolroom Mario brainstorming, and really tap into
Yep.
very quickly what people are thinking. But John, I want to thank you. I think it's been a great space, a great discussion, and that's all I have to say.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, John.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome, guys. No, but no, thank you to you for being there and listening. That Frenchy, mumbling sometimes some part of my speech. Of course, I knew it. See, right there. Now Enya is laughing. And conscious. Oh, come on, ladies. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about.
We love you, John.
I
We love you
know.
just the way
Love
you
you,
are.
John.
All right, all of you now laughing? No way. This is the end right now. No, thank you very much, everybody. It was, for right now, it's a turning point. And I just want to remind you, I'm John Crawford. And please come back Wednesday. Let's kick some door, please. And thank you. Have a good night. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Ciao.
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 Arrivederci. Au revoir.
Au
Bonjour.
revoir.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.